Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs pregame show presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Luke Stuckmeyer and Cody Del Mendo. Will we have our third straight beer bat chug after the game tonight from Mr. Del Mendo, who did it in under 11 seconds last night?
Yeah.
10-something?
10.5.
Fastest ever. Cubs going for their third straight win. Can they sweep the Mets after Stroh shut down and shoved against his former team and then fired a few words into the dugout afterwards?
And then did a lot of shit talking on social media.
Yeah. Took it to social media. But tonight, there are two big storylines going into the game. Number one, the return of the professor. Kyle Hendricks pitching for the first time since July 5th of last season. It's been a long road back for Hendricks. Long road back. Don't know what to expect. We'll get to that in a second because the move to let the professor back onto the roster is moving Nick Madrigal back to Iowa. Let's talk Madrigal first. What do you think of the decision that we talked a lot about in postgame last night? They were going to have to make a move. What do you think about moving Madrigal to Iowa?
It's about time.
I thought that might be your response.
It's about time. I think unless there's, knock on wood, unless there's an injury, I don't think we see Nick Madrigal back in a Cubs uniform.
Ever?
Ever. Unless there's an injury. Or someone's really struggling and Madrigal is somehow still on this roster. And I tweeted this earlier. I think there's value in a guy like Nick Madrigal if he gets play appearances every day and plays second base. He's just not a prototypical third baseman. Mm-hmm. He's not bad at playing third base, but you need power at third base, and he's got like a 69% ground ball rate. All he does is hit ground balls and doesn't hit homers, and at second base you can maybe find a way to work around that. I think that what we saw in August of last year is still in him somewhere, but I just don't think we're ever going to see him with the Cubs, and that's fine because you got Nico Horner at second, and I don't want him playing third anyway. So I personally hope the Cubs are able to trade him and he can go play every day somewhere else because I just think that him coming into the year, the Cubs kind of just put him in a situation that really didn't help him, didn't really set him up for success anyway. The moment they signed Dansby Swanson, they didn't put him in a position to succeed, in my opinion.
But it was the right decision. Like you don't not sign Dansby because you have Nick Madrigal on your roster.
Yeah,
like, you're not saying that it was
no. I'm not saying that
unfair. It was the right move.
I'm saying for Madrigal, though, for his success, or potential of success, it didn't help that the Cubs signed Swanson. So, like I said, I think at this point, the only way we see him back on the Cubs roster is if there's an injury or someone's really, really struggling and you need maybe you need a contact bat or something like that. I don't know. I just think the Cubs need to trade him like they did McKinstry,
or you just hang on to the depth unless you think that trade value. Is big enough to be worth more than the depth. He's got
plenty of options. I mean, absolutely could do that. I guess I'm speaking more to him as an individual player. Like, I just don't see him fitting on this team the rest of the year.
The best thing for Nick Madrigal, the player, might be a move to another organization. The best thing for the Cubs might not be necessarily moving Nick Madrigal. You can send him to Iowa and let him try to find his sweet spot again. Yeah. And if he finds it, you can call him up at the right time and use him. First of all, if there's an injury, knock on wood. B, occasional DH. Maybe you see a stretch where you think Nico's going to need some time off, and then a couple days later, maybe Dansby's going to need a couple days. Whatever the scenario may be. I do think it's going to be harder for him. You mentioned there's value in that type of player still in the major league game. I agree with you. It's not like everybody has to hit home runs. But this team lacks power. It's one of the reasons that we were begging for Morel to come up and Mervis to come up, because up the middle, two power positions sometimes, Dansby and Nico don't overwhelm me with a ton of power. Even Ian Happ in left field doesn't overwhelm me with a lot of power. First base, you're not really getting it still, even with Mervis. So I do think there's a spot for a guy like that. This team currently, the way it's constructed, is a tough fit. Now, if you think that he may have more value with the team further down the road when more power comes in and different guys move around, or you want to just keep him for depth, you have no obligation to treat him for what's best for Nick Madrigal.
That's fair.
So whatever you think is best, I'm cool with it. Our buddy Corey, who hasn't gone to the game yet, says, what was your favorite part of the Nick Madrigal era? Ha, ha, ha. He's not a Madrigal fan. Corey's not a Madrigal fan.
He never has been.
Now, I will here's what the stats were for Madrigal this season. So far, in 93 at-bats, batting .247, 9 RBI, 2 stolen bases. His on-base percentage, .286.
Not great.
I mean, the on-base percentage alone, if you just want to focus on that, for a guy that's got no power, the on-base percentage better be like, it has to be through the roof.
He hasn't even played to the level of what he did with the White Sox.
No.
Like, that's the thing, is that, like, and I've never been like a Madrigal stan or anything, but I always wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially going into last year, because he's coming off the injury and no one really knew. And then even at the end of the year, before they signed Swanson, I was kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, the guy didn't play, and the guy's had injury problems his entire career. But this year, again, in my opinion, the Cubs didn't necessarily put him in a spot to succeed because they forced him to learn a new position, and he wasn't getting every day at bats.
He actually did play third better than I thought he ever could.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I will say.
Yeah,
but he also has not.
He's done this year.
He has not hit the way they.
Right.
His most important duty is not learning third base. His most important duty is get on base, get lots of base hits.
Right.
And he wasn't really doing a great job of that. So that's why David Ross talked about it was a numbers crunch. He believes Madrigal will be back soon. Doesn't think it's going to be a long-term thing. Wants him to go up. What else is he going to say? I don't know what the answer to that is. I would argue that when the Cubs traded Kimbrel to the White Sox, despite the fact that Madrigal, what did you guys use? It was number 4 pick? 4th overall pick. Despite the fact he was the 4th overall pick, I think most people would tell you that Cody Hoyer was probably a bigger piece to the puzzle of that trade, and that Madrigal was just kind of an interesting piece coming over.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, listen, like 2021 with the White Sox, before he got hurt, played 54 games, 215 play appearances. He hit 305, 349 on base. He even slugged 429.
I mean, that guy has a spot on a major league roster.
You know, 1.3 FWAR.
Again, even on this roster,
54 games in.
But he's got to find that. And I know it's harder to find it when you're not playing every day, so maybe he finds it in Iowa.
The most we saw anything close to that from Nick Madrigal as a Cub at this point is in August of last year, and that's it. And again, on this team, and this is why I said that I think that is in him somewhere, but it just isn't on the Cubs because you know they're going to play Nico over him, and they should. And you know, like, there's no spot for him on this team. There just isn't. So, yeah, the only way he's going to really get playing time, if he's going to be back, is an injury or, you know, something like that.
Nieren says Madrigal with 3 A's in the name, Madrigal. Says the industry was wrong about him. We were right in March. Craig says, what's he going to work on in AAA? His power numbers? He's always been a contact guy. Better contact. That's what he's got to go work on. Like, what did I say the on-base percentage was?
286.
286. If you have no power, your on-base percentage can't be 286.
Yeah. He's only striking out 9.2% of his play appearances, but he's also only walking 3.1% of his play appearances. And that's the other thing.
You can't be hitting below 250 and getting on base like that. You got to be hitting 300 plus.
Yes.
With no power.
Absolutely. His weighted runs created plus is 62. I mean, with the White Sox in 2021, he had a 112 WRC plus. That's pretty good for a second baseman. Again, what we've seen from him is not even close to what the White Sox even got from him.
Right.
And I know our guy Herb over there is happy he's not a White Sox. So
Well, he told us he wasn't going to be a good base runner. We saw him at least once run through the sign at third.
Yeah, it's some
to
good
me, it's
base
more
running
about,
plays,
listen,
too.
the batting average, on base percentage, not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to ever hit a home run in a Cubs uniform. But if he's ever going to make it back to the major league level, he better be getting at least 2 hits a game.
that or I think
That's the way he gets back. He's got to bat. He's got to bat at least 300.
yeah.
Has to.
Has to. And he's got to find a way to stop hitting so many ground balls. Got to find a way to stop hitting so many ground balls. So, I don't know. In a way, I feel bad for the dude just because, like, he seems like a good dude and, like,
I don't wish.
I
hope he does go down to Iowa and figure it out.
He's had some success in, a handful of games. But he's just not getting it done with the Cubs. And he's a big part of, honestly, why the Cubs didn't do well on the road trip. I mean, he got a handful of chances to hit leadoff. And I know Corey in the chat hated it. Got a lot of chances to just be in the lineup. The amount of times this guy was in the lineup over Christopher Morel in the month of April when Morel's in Iowa, just crushing it. If you want me to walk back on how many games the Cubs would have won if Christopher Morel was on this roster in April compared to Nick Madrigal, I think it's a very good argument. So
Nick G is asking in the live chat, do you think there's any lingering issues from his leg injury? Niren says he needs to hit the weights. Maybe. But if that's the case, then go down and get that done.
Yeah.
I will say this. For all the people that wanted to see him demoted to AAA, that's okay because you want what's best for the Cubs. There is no benefit to hoping that the guy struggles at AAA. None.
Yeah.
You want him to go down there and figure it out, whether that's for trade value or whether that's for, hey, he can come up and whatever role he might have someday to help the Cubs, maybe it's win 5 games someday. Yeah. Fine. There's no benefit in him going down and struggling. None. So you might as well go root for him in Iowa. Hope that he does well there. Yeah. So that's half of the big move today. The other big half is Kyle Hendricks pitching for the first time since July. Do we have Ryan's tweet of David Ross, Joey? Ready to lose my voice. Pregame.
Human being every single day. He is just like this. I can't get over the way, the vision that I have in my mind. They give up 1 hit against the Dodgers in the CS here, and he walked off the mound with his head down like his dog had died. Like I was just like, that's Carl. He is not going to ride. We call him Carl. That's Kyle. He's not going to ride the emotions at all. I love that about him. His most frustrated moment is kind of letting out a sigh of air, and his happiest moment is, I don't know if I've ever seen it, but maybe the World Series. But I love that about him. That's my favorite thing. It's just, he's right there. He doesn't ride it hard at all. And he's been that way since I've met him.
Kyle Hendricks, you ever seen an athlete with less emotion? And it's not like he's uncomfortable or strange in person. He's like the nicest, most normal guy. He's just able to shut it off and show you nothing on the mound. Nothing makes his heartbeat go beep. He's just...
That's why he was the perfect guy to have on the mound in Game 7. And in Game 6 in the NLCS.
100%. So can you imagine tonight? First of all, I assume he gets a big round of applause when he takes the mound. What if Kyle Hendricks strikes out the side in the first inning? What if Kyle Hendricks goes 8? What if he goes 7 shutout innings? Do we get a tip of the cap? Do we get even a smile out of Kyle Hendricks on the mound? Or will he just walk off and
we get 7?
He'll give you a tip of the cap, but it'll probably just be no look on his face.
Yeah. I know I'll be smiling real big
Oh.
if that happens. So I'm hoping for 5 innings tonight. But
Listen, what a boost a sweep could be
oh yeah,
with the cherry on top being Kyle Hendricks returning and having a great performance.
yeah, and
Or even a good performance.
right,
Huge
And-
boost for a team that came off a miserable road trip.
right, and he's doing it against a team he's had success against in his career. 4-0 with a 2.10 earned run average against the Mets. Ryan tweeted that out. I wish I had all those facts in my head, but Ryan actually tweeted those out.
It's a good feeling
Yeah.
because I'm like, I don't know. It's another member of the 2016 Cubs, the good times, and it's just a happy feeling to see Kyle come back for
Yeah.
better or for worse, just to be on the mound again. So it's just been a lot of like, we've said goodbye to a lot of the important Cubs in recent years, and it's been a lot of hard times. And so I think that this is a nice change of pace in terms of just a franchise legend coming back to the mound.
Last guy standing.
In a
Tim
way-
and Rossi, that's it.
In a way, and hand up, like you can go back, and I'm sure there's plenty of shows where in the offseason I was like, man, I don't know what the Cubs are going to do with Kyle Hendricks. Like, I don't know if
Well, you still don't.
Well,
Right? We still don't know what's gonna-
This is before they
Oh,
re-signed
gotcha.
Smiley. This is before they signed Tyone. It's before we even knew that Justin Steele would be this good and Stroh would be as good as he's been. I just remember in the offseason where I didn't feel great about about Kyle Hendricks coming into this season. So, given the circumstances of what the Cubs are in now, I still wouldn't say that I have high expectations, but I also feel like at the same time, you're asking for the guy who's had all this major league success to what? Be a 5 starter? You're number 5?
It's a long way back. He's not a young guy. He doesn't throw 90. He's never thrown 95.
Right.
You're going to get 87 tonight, probably.
Well,
I don't know.
they said in Iowa he's touching 90.
He is. It's been an uptick. Well, it's been rumored that their gun is a little warm. But
All right,
regardless.
89.
So, who just said it in the chat? Fly the Dub says, "What if Kyle gets rocked tonight?" How dare you? No, there is a possibility that this is Kyle Hendricks' beginning of his farewell tour.
Yeah.
Couple starts, they don't go well. That's possible. Eventually, he's going to ride off into the sunset. I would like to see him ride off, pitching well, and deciding, yeah, that's it. I want to hang up my hat. I would love to see him after all this work put in, going through everything he went through the last year almost. Like to see good results
Yeah. I
for
think
what
we're-
he's done for
we're
Cubs
all-
baseball.
We're all rooting for him, no
Yeah.
doubt. But yeah, I get the concern. Like, it's not like he was pitching well before he got hurt.
But he's everything as a teammate, Cody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why not only did he pitch Game 7 and the NLCS, he's won so many big games for the Cubs and done it with class. And when he hasn't pitched well, he's still the guy that's in the dugout currently. When he was getting healthy, he's talking to Justin Steele. He's talking to Keegan Thompson. He's all the young pitchers. He's willing to just give them whatever information he can share.
Yeah. The one thing that I'll say for anyone who's, I guess, nervous about Hendricks and success is that last year it's not like the Cubs had a good defense behind him. And same thing in 2021,
Right,
really.
yeah.
I mean, in 2021, the first half, he struggled in April like he always does, and then got better as the season went along, had like a 15, 16 start stretch where he was, the Kyle Hendricks that we thought we knew. And then the deadline happened and he really struggled in September. And the roster was completely different by then. So I don't know how much you want to take into that.
Wait,
But,
sorry. Finish your thought.
what I'm saying is now the Cubs have an elite defense behind them.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely at least benefits him a little bit and hopefully helps him get off to a easy start tonight. Because I think, ideally, I don't really want him to strike out the first 3 batters unless it's on 3 pitches each and he throws an immaculate
I'd love
inning.
to see 3 ground balls to Dansby.
I would like to see a 10-pitch inning,
Yeah.
three ground balls to Nico or Dansby and get out of
Yeah.
the inning. Like that. That's what I want to see because that's how Kyle Hendricks has built his career, on just getting soft contact and, keeping the pitch count low. And that's like in the best years of his career, that's how he did it. Was just you sit back and you wonder, how the hell is this guy doing this, throwing 89, 90 miles per hour?
Why do they keep pounding it into the ground?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to me, that's what I would like to see tonight. One, because I think that'll help him settle into the game, and two, I don't know what his pitch count's going to be.
There's got to be one, though.
I don't think he's going to throw 100 pitches tonight. I'd say maybe 80, 85 tops. So
Corey wants to
I'm
know what
hopeful
happened in
for-
Game 7.
I'm hopeful for 5 innings. What happened in Game 7? The Chicago Cubs won the World Series in the state of Ohio, in Cleveland,
Cleveland Blue.
a 3-1 lead.
People forget that.
People forget.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you saw Corey's question.
Ah, yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah, he's fired it off a couple times. Guys, what happened?
They won the World Series.
Matthew Gregory says 81 pitch, complete game again, please.
The Maddox. Remember when he threw the Maddox against the Cardinals? That was a great one.
How
Also,
about
when
the
he
Brewers last year? Opening day.
almost complete game in San Diego.
Oh,
Padres.
man, the conversations that
Still
we
in there.
had in these very seats. I mean, I'm pretty sure Luke said, are we sure that Jonathan VR can't be a quality player for this season?
Now, you go back and find that.
Somebody said it. I don't know if it was you, but
Actually, we would have said that.
VR had a good, I'm not joking, he had a good first game, and we were like, why not? Why not this VR guy?
We said it. We said in the preseason when they signed him, we're like, "That's a solid signing." Did you
did,
know he
yeah.
stole that many bases?
Yeah. My favorite part
He
of the
ran away with the
Jonathan
money.
VR era was the series in Colorado, because I feel like that was the only time he ever hit for the Cubs.
Craig took the over on strikeouts at 3.5 for Hendricks tonight.
It's not a bad bet.
Speaking of Cody,
Staying away though.
DraftKings pick of the night. Picks of the
I
night, parlays.
I took the under on Carlos Carrasco strikeouts tonight at 4.5. He hasn't thrown over 4 strikeouts all season, like in a start. It's been 4 or less in every start. So, and I got it at plus 115. I think this morning it was at minus 115. So yeah, give me Carlos Carrasco under 4.5 strikeouts. The hit parlay is Morel, Tachman, and Seiya Suzuki. All three guys hitting, I think, Seiya, Morel, Tachman. I think that's how it's going in the lineup tonight.
It might be
Yeah.
Tachman Morel.
Yeah.
I don't know which. Oh, I'll tell you right now. Tachman Morel. Suzuki Tachman Morel.
Okay. That's
Morel
the hit parlay,
DHing, not playing center field. Tachman playing center field.
which I like. He's played. He's looked nice
yes.
out there.
For Kyle, that's better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you got a couple wagers down.
Yeah.
Kyle Hendricks. You realize what a good game could mean? Let's say Kyle comes back.
Like his back.
Yeah. I'm not saying like
Don't let
in
me
the Cy
talk
Young
myself
running. I'm
into
just
it,
saying
Stuck. Don't let
he
me
comes
talk
back and is
myself
a good 3. He's not 3 right now in this rotation. I'm just saying, like, if he comes back and pitches that well, and you have Steele, Stroman, Smiley, Hendricks,
Yeah.
now you can dream about
If Kyle
getting back to
Hendricks-
500 and beyond.
Wasn't your bold prediction whenever Gordon Whitmire was in here was that Kyle Hendricks would lead the Cubs in wins?
Yeah, I don't want to look back at that.
It could happen because I
It
think
still
Steele
could because
is
wins
like
are.
what?
I said because
Steele's the only one who has a ton of them.
and because wins are a weird thing,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
guy can pitch great,
And it's a
Team
bold
doesn't hit that
prediction.
night.
So, I mean,
But
whatever.
look at Stroman.
Yeah.
Stroman just wasn't getting a run support.
Right. But, and that's
Kyle,
what I'm saying.
good day to
like,
go 1-0.
What if Kyle Hendricks does get the run support and he's good? Like that's basically what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying.
So, I don't know, man. For me, at least tonight, tempered expectations. Now, if he goes out there and pitches 6 innings, I know I'm going to get really hyped up for the next start.
Well,
I'm just
with-
excited to see him on the mound.
With Tyone struggling,
Oh yeah,
now
They
there's
need
even
him.
more excitement about him coming up and anticipation. Like, could he actually come back?
yeah.
Could we get good Kyle? Could we get average Kyle Hendricks?
I hope so, man. It's not like again, he never used velocity throughout his
No.
career to be good.
No.
It's not like he's had to be like Noah Syndergaard, who went from throwing triple digits to 92, 93 now. He had to completely change how he was as a pitcher. Kyle Hendricks doesn't have to change anything. And again, I do think the better defense behind him will only help him. So We'll see. I'm just excited to see what he's got. And I think if the Cubs, I think the key for success for the Cubs tonight, score early and for him to get out of the first inning clean. Get out of the first inning clean. I think that helps him settle in. And if the Cubs can score early, that'll only help him even more. It'd
Craig
be a
says
great start.
I couldn't say Tyone's name.
I think it was just an honest mistake, maybe.
What'd I say?
I don't even know.
I thought you said Tyone.
You nailed it right after he said that. And then he took it back.
I don't know. I got no voice.
You got the T in there?
T. It's not helping. Pipes are gone.
The peach
Craig
tea?
says he said
Podcast
it,
number
never
2.
mind.
Allergy season. Not
Yeah, it's
working.
tough.
Adam White. Remember, Hendricks pitches
Who's
better
it?
when the Cubs are better / expectations are higher. So, yeah, I mean, last year's team wasn't good, right? You didn't have a good defense behind him. We talked about how bad the defense was all last year. Which might be even more impressive of what he did in San Diego last year, but whatever.
Should we do who you got?
I suppose. And everyone's saying Jordan
Cody's-
Wicks just struck out Eloy Jimenez in minor league games.
How about
so that's
that?
cool. Revenge game, not so much.
Even Wax expecting 88 to 89 on the gun, 4 solid innings, about 5 strikeouts. I'd take that.
I'd take that.
I
I would take 4 innings. Realistically,
4
I would
innings?
take 4 innings.
2 runs.
Yeah,
I'd take that
I'd
too.
take that. And then let the ass man come in and pitch a couple innings.
Well, Leiter probably not available tonight.
Probably
by
not.
the way. So, be interesting. Is the wind blowing in? Can we confirm the wind's? I'm
Wrigley
praying
winds.
for the
Let
wind
me
to be
look it
blowing
up.
in. Howling wind blowing in.
Da-na-na-na-na.
The cold is good for Kyle fly balls.
They
according
didn't
to-
tweet tonight. Why didn't they tweet?
Hold on, I got the website here. Can't tell. I think it's this. It's not. Don't like this. I don't like how it's showing at me right now.
Yeah, the Wrigley Winds Twitter account did not tweet today telling us what the weather is. At
Where's
Wrigley
Danny
Field.
Rocket when you need him? He's always
Yeah.
giving us the damn
Yeah,
forecast
yeah.
at that ballpark.
He always is, yeah. I'm
Call
not
him
sure.
up.
I'm really not sure.
Colada says new segment. Who's gonna stinks tonight? That's his idea.
Come on, Godfather. They won 2 in a row. They're going for a sweep. Hashtag vibe with us.
When is when is Godfather going to vibe with us? Like
Vibe-
actually vibe with us?
By the way, because this is a pregame show and you're our people, I'm going to share a secret. We got a shirt sale coming on Saturday at the CHGO locker for baseball shirts. Saturday, big discount coming for Memorial Day
It's like
weekend.
all the way. It's like the entire weekend. So
The shirts are practically free when you start getting the Die Hard discount. On top of the other discount. Plus the free one you get for signing up to be a Die Hard. Just throwing it out there. You're our people.
Evil Wax says if the wind is blowing in, that bodes well for Kyle. Well, yeah.
Nieran also said if it's colder night tonight, which is good for some of his fly
it is
balls.
a little bit chillier today. I was outside a little bit today. It was pretty chilly. So yeah, maybe the weather conditions help him. I don't know.
Jack R., do I not follow you on Twitter? At me. I'll follow you.
Adam. Also,
Cody
Corey
and Matt
I'll
says,
follow you.
follow back too.
read Corey's comment there.
Me, Cody, and Colada in the bleachers this summer. Who says no? Corey, because
Security.
I've never seen that guy go in the bleachers.
Oh,
with me.
yeah,
the
that's
amount
right.
of times I've gone out in the bleachers and he'd be at the game.
That's
I'll
only
believe it when I see it.
That's only listen, that's only 3 guys. That's on the bare chest. CUB. Somebody's missing. Ryan? Joey?
I did go to the Memorial Day games last year for the doubleheader
C.
and run into Cody.
You did, yeah. I
Slightly
remember that.
inebriated.
You could be the C.
You were pretty inebriated. Yeah, you were.
I went to both games, all right? It was hot, it was hot as
It was
hell.
hot.
Colada wants a box.
Colada says I'm there.
All right. Hope you're all going to be here for
Whoa,
the
whoa, whoa,
postgame
whoa,
show.
whoa,
Oh,
whoa. You're not going to do who you got?
oh, I thought we mentioned who you got. We didn't say who.
Jack R says that he unfollowed you and then followed you. The hell, man?
Just now?
So that he could so that he would come up fresh on Luke's Twitter. I
Well,
assume.
I'll look right now. Here, watch. But if I do it, then you have to say you agree with me at all times. I agree with Luke.
These are the rules.
I agree with Luke. Those are the
Our
rules.
guy Sean's in the chat. What's up, man? Okay, fair point. Corey says, okay, fair
Jack
point.
followed
but
me, and I
have
just followed him back.
tickets in 216. Luke can have my tickets, and we'll go in the bleachers. Hell yeah. All right, I'm holding you to it.
Matt Gregory's going to be in the bleachers tomorrow.
Matt, he's gonna
have a
be
great
there.
time.
Gregsy?
Hope you have a great time.
Gregsy.
I'm going to go meet up with Matt Gregory after post game tomorrow because one, he's a diehard. Two, because he's coming all the way here from Arizona. I'm gonna go have a beer with him, probably at Murphy's.
Well, I could have
After
Corey's
posting.
seat. I could have Corey's seats and stay out of the sun with my fair skin.
Corey's seats are sick, so. Anyway,
Who
who
you
you
got?
got?
You took Frem's finest.
I think Cody might officially. He said he's not a Madrigal stan. He might be a Talkman stan. You're the
I like
biggest
the-
Talkman fan on this podcast, I'd say.
Listen, I just give credit where credit is due, and like people don't want to like on Sunday, no one want to see Mike Tauchman in the lineup. And what's he do? He walked twice and stole a base, and then the next game he had a hit and a walk and scored a run that led to the Cubs winning, and then he hit the game-winning hit last night. So I mean, I don't think he should be playing every day once Cody Bellinger comes back, but I think he's a solid fourth outfielder. I just give credit where credit is due, and I'm riding the high hand. And also, I'm
Like it.
taking the guys that no one else is going to take because
I like
if
it.
Tauchman has a good game, that means the Cubs are going to win this game. I'm
Mid-Suburban
manifesting wins. I care more about the Cubs winning than who you got. Big of me. Credit to me. Thank you.
Well, Ryan jumped on Morel, figures he's going to homer after he didn't homer last night. Corey went Seiya, who's been blistering hot. Good pick.
Fair.
Solid pick. And then I was surprised that Brendan jumped off the Nico train onto the Hap train.
Onto the half.
So you know what I did with the last pick? Well, I went Nico.
You did go Nico.
Because I know that if Nico hits, Brendan is going to be angry at himself.
he'll have to angry tweet it out too.
I literally only took Nico because Brendan didn't. I was like, Nico, Dansby. Nico, Dansby, Mervis. Nico, Dansby, Mervis. Nico.
I saw Cerami tweet out some stats about Mervis today in his last 8 games. Been pretty good. Starting to adjust a little bit. Love to see it. 29 plate appearances. So small sample, but I think he's starting to come around. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good game tonight too.
That's it, Jack. I'm not even saying anything, but he agrees with me.
Luke isn't even saying
That's
anything, but I
important.
agree with him. The new rule I got to follow. Yes.
That's it. But now you can't say that. You can't say that afterwards. Now people are going to know.
Brandon says he agrees with you.
Brandon agrees with me. Thank you. I appreciate it. And
Some people say they
Michael
agree with me,
Collada
too.
agrees with me.
Well, he always agrees with you.
Timothy's taking Hap.
Craig agrees with Cody.
Greg's going Mervis.
Who agrees with me?
We will
Joey?
see. Nobody can take.
Craig?
Listen, we'd all
Oh,
be
yeah,
fighting
right
to take Hendricks if we could, but you can't take pitchers.
No.
We'll be back here after the game. Hope
And
you
I will
follow
take
us.
Gomes. Thank you.
You're taking Gomes?
Sorry.
You're in on Gomes?
Yes. Yes. 1 point. Sorry. 1 point
1
for
point
Gomes.
Gomes.
Let's go.
CHGO Cubs pregame show presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app, use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Agree with me. We'll be back for postgame. Flat.